Good morning. It's fancy coffee time. Happy Sunday. We were supposed to have plans today. Well, I do, but my original plans got canceled. Now I have new plans. I was supposed to go to a family reunion today, all the way down in Ohio. This side of the family is actually my biological mom's side. And, oh, come here. The door won't close. So it's all the way down in Akron, and we were gonna go. But my husband, him and his back, man, they don't get along. They're not friends. They're not besties. His back is not doing good, and he's not gonna be able to make the drive. Now here's the thing. I have some videos that absolutely have to be edited and posted by today and tomorrow. So that means I cannot be in the car driving for 6 hours when the plan was for me to work for 6 hours while my husband drove. So I'm not going. I can't. I got shit to do. And I actually avoided a catering order for this day because somebody wanted mac and cheese. And I was like, no, because I have a family reunion. No, we're not going. And it sucks because I miss my mom's family, but they'll have a reunion next year, right? I can't be in the car all day. We were in the car yesterday. We had to drive down to Morgantown, so it's an hour-and-a-half drive there. And I spent the day with Sudbilly. And days like that, like being in the car back to back, I don't do good with that. So no, staying home, well, staying in Pittsburgh. I'm not staying home because Maddie texted the group chat and asked if anybody wanted to go swimming. Now it is supposed to like scatter storm throughout the day, but I was like, I'll go swimming. I'll go help with the kids and love on the babies. So me and Maddie are taking the girls swimming. I don't know if anybody else is going. I know Erica just got back. Mama loves macros. She just got back from Delaware, Bethany Beach yesterday. So she's probably not one to do too much because you know how it is after vacation. You have to recoup. So yesterday, the day with Sudbilly was so fun. So as soon as we got to her husband's tattoo shop, I was like, well, on the way down there, I was looking up thrift stores. Okay, because I had a bug. I had an itch that needed to be scratched, and it's the thrifting itch. Okay? I grew up thrifting with my stepmom. We loved it. We'd go to the Village thrift store in Arlington Plaza. Oh gosh, the amount of fun we would have at that thrift store. And then when the Village thrift opened up in Cuyahoga Falls, that became my mom's favorite because it was so much better. They just got nicer shit, you know. It's not in the middle of Akron. They were getting nicer things from like Stowe and Kent and Hudson that goes to the Cuyahoga Falls thrift store. So we loved that one. I actually have been telling my husband I want to take a day and go back to Akron and go to my mom's favorite thrift store. Because there's so many memories in there for me, you know, good memories. Thank you, Nespresso. I love Nanette. She's such a sweetie. That's my Nespresso's name, if you didn't know. Oh, let's drink this up, Susan. There's much more froth in there we're going to get, but we got to suck it down first. That's what she said. So, yesterday with Sudbilly was the best. Every single time I get to see that woman, we have a blast. Most of the time, we just sit around having, like, super deep spiritual talks. You know, like things like on our spirit and our soul. And Sudbilly is legitimately one of the most fucking phenomenal humans I've ever met. I've been friends with her for so long for a reason, okay? Because not only is like her spirit and her presence, like it's calming, it's loyal, it's loving, it's real. Like if you're on some bullshit, as her friend, she's gonna be like, that's fucking stupid, Desiree. Don't do that. And she will. She has always been 100% honest with me, and she's protective of me. I'm protective of her. So if you didn't know, me and Sudbilly have been friends. We met on TikTok years ago, and we have been friends ever since. So pretty much inseparable at this point in time. So went down to her. We went and did some thrifting. Let me rinse this out before it dries, because then it gets all nasty. Look at the foam coming up off of that mug. That's cool. The thrifting situation was cool. Next time I go back down for thrifting, I'm going to take some gloves. Because this Goodwill bin store, let's go sit in the living room. I don't want to stand here and talk. We have a beautiful living room. Let's go out there. Come on. You don't need to be trapped to the countertop. Oh, looks like the cats are going a little crazy. Okay. We're going to do my little morning routine together, okay? It's nothing crazy, but I come out here after fancy coffee time. Boop. Turn on the lights. Oh, that's so bright. And then I like to light my incense before I start relaxing with my coffee. Then after I finish fancy coffee time, I edit it and I go immediately into my meditation and yoga. Every single time people see this incense burner on my page, they're like, where did you get it? TikTok shop. It's a Middle Eastern style. I mean, it's got like Arabic writing on it. I'm Lebanese, so this is fitting in my home. It's a Middle Eastern style incense holder. And I got it from TikTok shop. I love it. I love it. So, yeah. All right. Here's what I love about this quilt. Watch, look at it. It's just so perfect. Okay. All right. Sorry, I got a little carried away. Thank you, Jennifer Shirley, for this quilt. I will treasure it always. So yeah, thrifting was the best. Sudbilly is one of the most beautiful humans. I'm blessed to call her one of my best friends in life. And what a lot of you guys don't know is how protective Sudbilly is of me. Yep. I'm gonna tell you a story to give you an idea of just an inkling of how protective Sudbilly is, okay? So, Sudbilly and I have been friends for 6 years. And it was back in January. It was the first time anyone in our friend group was meeting Mama Loves Macros besides me, okay? So we're going to this event and Sudbilly comes up from West Virginia. She comes to my house. Mama Loves Macros comes from Greensburg and she comes to my house. So they're meeting together for the first time here at my house. So they meet and you can tell Sudbilly is standoffish. Like, she's nice, but she's watching. Okay, Sudbilly will watch motherfuckers to see how they move. So we get in the car and we're on our way to this event and it's like an hour away. And we're all just like, you know, small talk. Small talk. Well, Sudbilly comes in and she's like, fuck this small talk shit. She flat out asks Mama Loves Macros. She goes, so what are your intentions with Desiree? like a dad who's meeting his daughter's girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. You know, we don't judge around here. We love and accept everyone. For a dad who's meeting a significant other. Okay, that's what she sounded like. And, you know, so Mama Loves Macros started talking about how she'd been following me and what an inspiration I am. And I really helped her, you know, figure out to get back into therapy and start working on the things. And so that took some time. Not really. I think Sudbilly needed to read through, like, really analyze what Erica said to make sure she was in it for me. Because Sudbilly is one of those friends that, like, sits back and she will let you make your own decisions. She will never try to, like, influence you. But if she sees something that could potentially harm you, she's gonna have a conversation about it. She's very loving and protective, and everybody needs them Sudbilly in their life, just not mine, because I am feisty and I don't like to share that much. I already share her with our whole group of friends. That's as far as sharing as caring is going. Okay. No, we love us some fucking Sudbilly. We love us some Sudbilly. Her and Tom and Luca, just beautiful people. And so Sudbilly came. I mean, she didn't come for Mama Loves Macros. She was like, what are your intentions with Desiree? And I think that by sitting back and just watching Erica, they have actually formed like their own really close friendship now. And Erica told her, she was like, I want people to be protective of Desiree because I need her to be protected. Like, we need to make sure that she is protected at all costs because the world needs her. So thank you both for loving me. But those are, you know, I'm so blessed. So today, plans got changed. I was supposed to go to a family reunion. I didn't. As soon as my husband said his back was bothering him, I didn't even go buy the food because I was going to cook chicken shawarma. I was going to do hummus. I was going to do tabbouleh. I think I wanted to do fulham damas because that's one of my favorites. It's if you've never had fulham damas, it's like garlicky fava beans. One of my favorites. So today I'm going swimming instead. And does it suck that I can't go? Yeah, kinda. But I mean, I haven't seen everybody in a couple of years anyways. I don't think one more year is gonna make that big of a difference, you know? And plus, I think for someone like me, like, because of trauma and everything I've been through, sometimes going, and maybe this was meant to happen, okay? Because I did just have a really rough EMDR session last week. And unfortunately, I don't think my family could possibly ever understand how possibly being in that environment could send my mind into a place. And it's not an environment of like chaos or negativity or anything like that. Like my mom's family, they're not my dad's family. I mean, there were always fights with my mom's family, but to be fair, my like two of my mom's brothers were always the shit starters in the family. So it was like the fights that would start were always started between Uncle Mark and Uncle John, and then it would be just like great chaos. Okay. But I think that with certain things that I'm tackling in EMDR, maybe going into an environment where like it's my mom's whole biological family, that could be a lot for me to process. Okay. And it's really weird because I love my mom's side of the family. That's the Lebanese side. But it's hard. It's confusing, right? Because I love them. But there's so much of like relationships that weren't there for me because my biological mom took them away. So for instance, when we went into foster care, and I didn't find this out until I got out of foster care, okay? When we went into foster care, I remember my foster mom saying something to me a few weeks after being there that I was probably going to go live with a family member. Now, at this point, I was only with my foster mom for a few weeks, which I'm not even supposed to call her that anymore. She's the foster bitch, because connotating the word mother with her is not good for my mind, okay? Because we have some fucking mommy issues over here. Big ones that we're working through. Anyways, she told me that family was trying to get me, and I was all excited. Well, after I got out of foster care, I find out that not only did my dad try to get me out, not only did my Uncle George try to get me out, not only did my aunts try to get me out, not only did my Jiddo try to get me out, not only did my Sito try to get me out, so many family members tried to get us out of foster care. They were all like, let the kids come stay with me. You know, there were multiple family members who were all willing to take one of us to get us out of foster care. But here's the thing about pride and caring what people think about you. My bio mom was so worried about what her family would think. She denied every single one of us going to anybody's house. Because if we got out of foster care and we went and lived with family would start asking questions that we had the answers to. So instead, lies were told about family members to Children's Services. My dad was actually, kid you not, to prevent me from going with my dad, she told the judge we weren't their children, we weren't his kids. They had to do a DNA test. And if you see a picture of me, and you see a picture of my dad, or you see a picture of my brother and my sister, and you see a picture of there's no arguing it, okay? But I think what it is she was in like, and I'm trying to look at all this shit now, especially after everything that happened with my kid last month. I'm trying to look at it from a different perspective. Like, I think that the parents are going to have their own perspective, and then the kids are going to have their own perspective, and we both need to like look at each other's perspective to be more understanding, okay? So ever since everything happened with my kid, I'm like, you know what? And especially talking to my sister the other day, we're like, maybe I need to give her some grace. But it's hard because our happiness, our safety, our protection, it was all spared at the cost of being scared of what your family thought of you, or feeling like a failure, or, you know, it was like if we could have been taken out of that situation, if I would have been out of foster care, I wouldn't have suffered the way I did because of that woman that was paid by the government to take care of me. And she did anything but. I mean, she kept me alive, barely. Anyways, going back and going to that reunion, maybe it's meant to be that I'm not going today, because there's a lot in my mind that I need to process. And especially after like talking to my sister the other day, my bigger sister, we talked for over 2 hours, and I asked her if she was going to go to the reunion. And she's like, no, why should I? She's like, we were raised to hate those people, Des. Like, I don't understand why we were raised to believe all these people were horrible people, which it's true. When we tried to find good in my mom's family, my mom would make sure we didn't. And I don't know why. I don't know if she wanted to like warp our minds to where they always chose her, but her family didn't deserve the way we were pulled from them. You know, like I look at my mom's family and everyone seems so close. And every time I show up there, I feel like such an outsider. There are only 3 people, 4, my Uncle Jimmy, my cousin Lisa, my cousin Jenny, and my cousin Kelly. 4 people in a room of 150 that I feel loved and comfortable around. Because I just don't know everybody. I mean, I know them, like I grew up, you know, my cousins have beautiful families, they're beautiful people, but I don't know them. They don't know me. You know, they just know me as Desiree, Stephanie's daughter. They don't know who I am inside. And it's really hard because I don't know, maybe not going today is like a protection for myself because there's so many things that I'm working through. And in my EMDR therapy session that I had last week, it was horrendous. It was the worst EMDR session I've ever had. And I'm still recuperating from it. I'm still processing. And my therapist was like, do you think, you know, we'll get back to EMDR and try to finish this subject? I was like, not this week. No, we need time to process in between. And she's perfectly, like, she leaves it up to me whether or not I want to do EMDR. She doesn't force me. She doesn't like try to push it or suggest it or anything. She's like, how do you feel today? What are we doing? It's up to you. And I always know that. And I said something to my therapist. I was like, about a month ago, I was like, I purposely wore makeup so that we didn't have to do EMDR today. And she was like, Desiree, you can just say, I don't want to do it. And I was like, I know, but I feel like the makeup is a better way to pull that off. So yeah, it's hard too because my grandparents are no longer around, but I keep thinking to myself, because I know the decisions I made in terms of like raising my kids and raising myself because I was in survival mode. So I keep trying to have compassion towards my bio mom because I understand she was an emotionally immature parent. I understand that there was a lot of trauma in her home. I understand that brains rewire themselves, right? So I really am doing my best to give as much, I don't know if it would be understanding to the situation, empathy, sympathy, there's a word, proceeding with caution, I guess. I don't know. To her in understanding that the decisions she made were survival decisions. However, it's hard for me because where I want to take accountability for the things I've done, just like my sister said the other day when we were talking, accountability is not in her, like it's not even in her realm at this point. There's no conversations that we can have. And when we do converse with her, it's so upsetting and so triggering. It puts both my sister and I in a very dark place. And my sister and I are both in recovery. I'm beyond proud of both of us. So I've told my sister, I know we struggle with the feeling of like she's still alive and we want something to do with her, but we also struggle with like every time we're around her, our nervous system, you know, it's like through the roof. And for people in recovery, it's not worth it to continuously expose yourself to something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think maybe not going today was meant to happen. My husband's back was meant to be so irritated that he's not going to be able to spend 6 hours in a car because I don't think my nervous system is ready for it. I don't think showing up at a reunion where everyone that like I've known my whole life but I barely know is smothering me with congratulations and how proud they are of me and how amazing I look and how hard I've worked. Because the last time they saw me, you guys, was like 3 or 4 years ago. I was disabled. I was on knee scooter and I thought I was awaiting amputation. So the Desiree that they saw years ago and the Desiree they see today would be 2 completely different people. And I struggle with compliments, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I struggle, and this sounds so silly. I struggle with compliments from people I know more than I do random strangers. Does that make sense? Maybe. We'll see. I have to talk to my therapist about that because that one just came up for sure. But there was a reason why I'm not going today. And I'll go, hopefully go next year. It sucks that I'm letting people down, but one thing I've learned is I have to live for me. And I have things to do. So being on the road for 6 hours, it's not going to work for me today. And maybe this is just like a protection of my subconscious. you know, because I do have a lot of shit going on that I'm working through. And it's getting better. I burned some shit the other night. Oh, I love fire. I love fire. I definitely feel better after burning a lot of things. And I've probably went through more saging my house than ever before. Because there's just energy in that basement that needs to fucking go. Do you know what I'm saying? So we've been saging and Palo Santoing. That basement is just, the feeling you get when you go down there is like, ugh, the energy is so horrible. But we're correcting it. So life has been beautiful and hard. And yeah, I wish my cousins could come here. If my Uncle Jimmy and my cousin Lisa and my cousin Jenny and my cousin Kelly could come to my house and hang out and we could talk for the day, that'd be great. Because out of there's over 100 people in this family. Lebanese families are huge. If you don't know, you know now. I have so many fucking cousins I can't remember their name. And I'm not exaggerating, okay? So many. My cousin Justin has 30 kids. Okay, no, he doesn't really. He's got 8, but still. Lebanese families are usually really big families, and mine is. And there are so many people that I've known them my whole life, but I don't know. That sounds so fucking bad to say it like that, but it's just honesty. My mom did not want us having a relationship with these people because they could have shown us that life was not supposed to be the life we were living. And it's frustrating and it's heartbreaking because of the things us kids went through because my mom was surviving and trying to protect herself, not her children, herself. And I think that comes with the amount of trauma that she endured. I've heard so many stories about her childhood, not just from her, okay? So I need you to understand, I heard horrendous things that my grandparents did because they were most likely in survival mode too. And she was raised with that. All of her siblings were raised with that. And when I look at the breakdown of how all of her siblings are, it's kind of like the breakdown of my sibling structure, right? There's some that are just barely surviving. There's some that absolutely lost their shit. There's some that aren't even here anymore because they lost their battle with mental illness due to the trauma they survived in their life. That's my Uncle Mark. There are some that are so wrapped up in addiction. There's, and when we sit back and we look at these family dynamics, when you see in my family, this dynamic is generational, okay? It's not just one addict out of one of the kids, out of one member of the family. In both sides of my family, my dad's side and my bio mom's side, chaos through the sibling relationships, okay? Addiction, severe mental health issues, depression, hoarding, things like that. A lot of people don't understand the way you keep your home is a reflection of the inside of your head and how you're coping. And I don't judge people. I grew up in borderline hoarder home. It was disgusting how we grew up, okay? But we grew up like that because my parents didn't have the mental capacity, okay? Because of what they survived. So I never judged anyone. I find it heartbreaking when I see news things of, someone who had 30 cats removed from their hoarder home and now they're in jail. And you look at the comment section and everybody's talking about how disgusting it is and stuff like that. But if you grew up in a home like that, you understand there are deep-rooted mental issues there. Well, not mental issues, mental health traumas that definitely need to be worked through because your living space is a reflection of how you feel. And if you've been here for a long time on my page, you know that we have went through this together in terms of how I keep my home. And if you go back, I don't know, it's probably a year now, maybe even a year and a half when we were talking about, the way I clean my home. And I am so proud of how I've kept my home for this last year and a half. When I was disabled and drinking and not in a good place, my home I was not proud of it. I was not proud of it. I mean, I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the care. I was rolling around on a scooter. Everything I had to do, I had to be stuck on a scooter. And I was just miserable in life. So now I wake up to, it's a lived in house. but it's a beautiful home, you know, and I have the energy to take care of it. And that's not ever something I never thought I'd be here, you know, but it's because I keep doing the work up here. And that's the most important part. So maybe what I'll do today, since I'm not going to the family reunion, is I would like to write a letter to each one of my cousins and my Uncle Jimmy. My Uncle Jimmy is actually my great uncle. He was my Jito's brother. Jito is grandparent. Okay, grandpa. Growing up, when I got out of foster care, I went and lived with my dad. And I got the Yellow Book phone book because I had not talked to my mom's family in years. 2 years in foster care, we hadn't seen them. And I started calling family members. The first person I called was my Jito, and I talked to him. And he actually came and picked me up next week and took me to lunch and bought me some clothes. Then my Sito, my grandma, they were divorced, and she actually had like a partner that she was living with. My grandpa had remarried as well, so, and separated. Grandpa had a lot of relationships that didn't work out well for him, unfortunately. Okay, so anyways, so I went through the phone book, and one by one, I found my mom's family. And my Uncle Jimmy, my great uncle, was someone who every single get together, I don't know what it was, but when he would see me, I could see the light in his eyes light up. And him, Uncle Jimmy, and I had always had an amazing, amazing relationship. So when I found his phone number, he was married to my dear Aunt Phyllis, and I still love Aunt Phyllis to this day. Her and I still talk, even though they're no longer married. But Uncle Jimmy became like my guiding light through my teenage years, and even through childbirth. You know, when I had my boys as a teenage mom, I mean, when I had to call this man who's mentored me on the phone for hours and hours and hours trying to help me get my life in order and tell him I was pregnant at 17 years old, I dreaded that phone call to my Uncle Jimmy more than I did when I told my dad I was pregnant, because I felt so bad letting Uncle Jimmy down, because he was someone who was truly helping me try to get my shit together. Like, he was a counselor, a mentor, a therapist, a family member. Uncle Jimmy is a beautiful human, okay? So without him, and him being able to speak to me about things that my family had endured that I didn't know about, I don't think I would have been as understanding, right? I don't know. I can't think of like what coulda, woulda, shoulda, because I do honor where I've been, and I'm very grateful for every lesson I've learned. So I can't sit here and pick it apart as shoulda, woulda, coulda. I do wish I had a closer relationship with my mom's side of the family. However, I don't have the energy for it right now to initiate it with everyone. Like I said, I have those 4 people. Like, I love everyone. I just don't know them the way I do the rest of my family. You know, like my cousin Kelly, she's one of my best friends. My cousin Jenny and Lisa, we used to stay the night over at their house and do TLC and fucking New Kids on the Block concerts in the living room, okay? And my Uncle Jimmy was always there. Everyone else, I don't know if it's trauma that makes me not really remember things about them, or it's like I feel like I only know them through Facebook. And that's not my fault. It's not their fault. It's just the circumstances, right? Like, I'm not angry about anything. I don't hold any ill will towards any of them. I love them. I don't know. I guess I'm processing a lot. Because to be honest, I was worked up going down. I was worked up going to a family reunion, because it's like my very first EMDR session was at, like, the very first one. That session was at a family's house. It was at my Aunt Helen's house. And that's the memory that I got back. And it was not a good memory at all. And maybe subconsciously I'm avoiding it because I don't want to relive that very first EMDR session. Like, I've processed it, but I don't want to relive it again, because I already had EMDR this week. I don't want to do it again. So yeah, it's just a lot. So I'm gonna go swimming with the girls today and Maddie. I'm excited. It's supposed to be scattered thunderstorms, but it is what it is. I mean, you're in fucking Pittsburgh. You're not getting away from this rain. Okay, it's not happening. By the way, look at that lampshade. I'm so obsessed with this. You have no idea. I got that lampshade at Goodwill yesterday. And it's just like, oh my God, it's perfect. And it keeps the lamp from blinding me, right? Which I can't even complain about because I have a ring light shoved in my face right now. Okay, we're not gonna talk about it. Anywho's, 3 things I'm grateful for. The friends who care enough to protect you. Yep, I have an amazing group of them now. And I got to spend yesterday with one of the most beautiful fucking souls I know. And we had a blast. And I get to see her in another week. Second thing I'm grateful for is her husband, Tommy, and his amazing tattoo work, okay? I already have my next tattoo picked out. And it's gonna go right here, okay? This is a phoenix. I'm getting a dragonfly here. I actually found it. Her husband he'd like drawn it out, and it was just like up there on a board. And I was like, Tommy, is this for anybody? And he said no, and I was like, well, it's for me. So that's gonna be the next one. But I do have a tattoo appointment next week to start getting shading done on my butterfly on my back. So we're getting the shading done there first, and then I'm gonna get the dragonfly here. And then after that, I'm working on my next tattoo. And I think my next tattoo is gonna be, it's the one thing for everything. And I don't know where I wanna get it. But I know that's definitely the tattoo I want. I wanted to say one thing for everything. And I think it's gonna be, don't get me wrong, I think it's gonna be like right there. One thing for everything. You know what I'm saying? I gave up booze and I got my whole life back. Okay, so tattoos. And the third thing that I'm grateful for is reflection. Being able to reflect on life now, at this point, after working on myself for the last 2 years and continuing to work on myself. 2 years in, I'm at a point where I can reflect on things that have happened in life. And I don't always have the racing heart and the tightness and, you know, feeling like my throat's closing and the 9 million thoughts a minute. I don't have that. It's just being able to reflect. And that's truly fucking beautiful because I've worked really hard just to be able to do that. Okay, really hard. So, tell me 3 things you're grateful for. I'm gonna get off here. I go into meditation, yoga, journaling right after this. And then every morning after I do that, I do my personal energy work. Okay, so I do my cleansing, my tarot, and just lining my energy up properly for the day. So that's like my morning routine that you guys don't see. And I have to have it. Like days I don't have my routine, I am so off the mark that it drives me crazy. Like I struggle keeping my brain together. So yeah, all right. Well, I love you. Thank you for being here. Go check out my thrifting haul video from yesterday with Son Billy because I got some good shit. Okay, I love you. Bye.